Gents, gang, what up?
Ooh.
Gang.
Right. Cheeky Midweeky number 4. We're talking in the group chat about topics to discuss today. Feel like a good one to begin with is freakiest shit you ever saw in the gym. TK, was it TK who asked? Was it Scott who asked? Are we talking about ourselves or athletes of ours? To which I replied, "You've seen me train, so obviously it's our athletes." On that note, TK, go first.
Pitcher, about 210, trap bar 60 to 3, and like fast, and like control the eccentric down. I was like, it was fucking impressive. That's why I've flown freest since I've seen, especially from like coming from like a baseball player who doesn't normally lift, and his job isn't to be really, really strong.
Was that El Reptile?
No, definitely not. That was
Please share the story of El Reptile.
Oh, so we have this as pitcher had in Double-A 2 years ago, and his nickname is like El Reptile, like the reptile, and it's because he shows zero emotion, and regardless of like what you say to him most of the time, he looks the exact same, and so Dominican players all call him like El Reptile, and he one game he struck out 15. Pitched like went like 8 innings. No one even fucking touched the ball. Debuted last season. Yes, didn't know he struck out 15. Just like has like it's almost like a high level, it's like elite level of unawareness of what he's doing. Like he does like he knows he's striking people out, but he has no idea how many. He has no idea how fast the ball's really going. Like he just doesn't really care. He just wants to strike people out, and like that's it. And then yeah, struck out 15. He got told he struck out 15 in the post-game interview, and went from like a blank stare to this big smile. He barely speaks English. It was just a big, goofy smile, and we were all dying laughing after the game.
He got called up right after Verlander got injured last year, right?
He was already kind of like already up anyway, because he was probably gonna pitch in the big leagues regardless of the season, at least come out of the bullpen. But yeah, he's nasty. He feels like they call it the invisible ball because of the arm slot he throws and the velocity and like the spin rate he throws it at. It's like really hard for batters to see. It doesn't feel like 99 or anything. It feels like 94, 95.
Is that it? Shit. So I mean, you just said a whole bunch of shit that I don't understand. But on the topic of baseball, the boy Anthony.
Yeah, my man.
What is the most impressive shit you've ever seen in the gym? Because you've probably had a good blend. I'll say definitely at the University of Richmond, your athletes pound for pound were probably the strongest.
I would say at Richmond, one of the most impressive things I remember watching is when I did the yo-yo test with some of my lacrosse boys, and wondering like, what am I going to do if they actually max the test? And then just feeling bad watching them grind it out, and just kind of like, they're still going. They haven't failed yet, but I feel like I got to shut this down. Like, just it was brutal to watch. And like, to their credit, I mean, they were just leaps and bounds, like just machines of what they can do work capacity wise. In the gym though, I'm gonna probably say William and Mary, the throwers though, Troy and KJ, what they could do in the weight room was some of the most impressive stuff. From the jump standpoints to the actual weight they can move, just absolute freaks. And I mean, we've had videos of those guys on your Twitter, my Twitter, and we like just moving obscene weight. I think kind of moving squat jumps with 405, pulling over 400 pounds, or maybe close to 500 pounds. Troy was doing with hex bar jumps, broad jumps like 11.4, I think was 11, Troy.
Because I got it on video. We were mocking around. It was actually when I was doing Steph's pro day testing, like the rehearsal.
Just absolutely explosive.
Yeah, he walked in, he jumped 11.7. And I think the combine record, which is the world record, is something like 12 and change.
12.3.
Yeah. So he was like 9 inches off the world record without a warm up, just like fucking around.
Yeah.
Last year he front squatted 440 for 8 or 445 for 8, which is nuts.
Yeah, I remember one day we had KJ, we said, hey man, I want you to hit a heavy triple, but then at the end, let's see what you can do with it. And you just banged out 8 reps with something, but we were like gauging him to maybe hit for a heavy triple, and he just kept going. And it was, again, just an absolute freak impressive, feat in the gym. I would say those are probably the two, if you're going to go with the S and the C as far as, what we do.
My favorite story about him is this was in his freshman year when he was in the dorms, and I think me and Scott were talking about like just these insane numbers, and then an athlete from another sport was in the gym that didn't know him. We were talking about, oh my god, like this guy's just fucking ripped, like insane physique, shit like that. And this athlete goes, well, I think I know who that guy is. I've seen him walking around the dorms in a do-rag and a kimono, like open at the waist, just in his underwear. And I was like, I'd be doing that too if I had that body.
Just the greatest guys too, the nicest athletes, probably some of the nicest athletes I've ever had the pleasure of working with too.
Yeah, man. Scott, what about you?
Yeah, Troy was the easy answer for sure. I didn't obviously directly train him, but beyond that, I would say when one of my lacrosse players at William and Mary pulled 315 on a trap bar deadlift easy, and it was probably 2 and some change times body weight for her. She ripped it off the floor. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
The other one would be when I was training the pro day class at the University of Tulsa. Had a linebacker that was about 215. He squatted, it was like 640 pounds plus 120 pounds of chains for a triple on outfield squat. And it was still moving. And I was just like, we're done. Like, you're done. And it was jumping. And he was a kid that had offers to all the top 25 programs to play. But as he put it to me, as to why he ended up at Tulsa, he said, when you're at the ice cream store and you can't make up your mind about what flavor you want, and you end up waiting, trying to make a decision, and everybody else buys all the ice cream and you end up with vanilla. I'm like, no, I don't understand that. I would just pick one of the other flavors by then before they all went away. And so that's how he ended up at Tulsa.
Did he go pro or is he done?
No, he's done. He's MMA fighting now, and it's like perfect for him.
I always thought the Labrador could do MMA, but he has zero aerobic ability. Like zero. So it would either be an outrageous knockout in the first 30 seconds or he'd be getting gassed and knocked out at the end of the first round.
Dude, antithetical to all the feats we've talked about with Troy was when we got him on the Airdyne for the Max Cal minute, and it was like a shooting star of 10 seconds of all-out biological output with an immediate drop to earth.
I think you got 45?
I think I got 45.
So, I mean, we spoke to the guys at Elon. So we spoke to Nicky D. They've got assault bikes. And I think he said it's like, if you get 50, you're an alpha male. If you get 40, you're a male, or something like that. If you're a 30, you're a beta male. So we fucking tried it out. And I think you get a little bit extra for echo. But you promptly got 45 or maybe like 48. So I'm like, fuck it. I tried. I got 40. And I laid down for the next 30 minutes. And then small Troy rocked up 27 calories.
It was a flash of brilliance, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you had to do the output for the first 5 seconds, it would have been hella impressive. But yeah, he just shits the bed in anything that's more than a few seconds. Zach, I mean, you're obviously in probably the most athletic conference and the most athletic sport in America. What have you seen? You've worked in a couple of big teams. Feel free to turn your mic on anytime you want, brother.
Don't worry, I'll go fuck myself. All right. Yeah. All right. So I would say the top like 3 freakiest things, like 1 and 2 kind of go together, is when I watched after like school I was at, we did like 0 like true like speed training, and we just randomly like ran 40s and watched our 2 starting corners go 4.27, 4.29 on Brower, like back to back. And now they're both like starting NFL corners. That was pretty freaky. Watching those go like legit hand time, 4.27, 4.29 was absolutely freaky. And then one was a number 4 pick in the draft. The other one was a 3rd round pick. That was absolutely probably the freakiest thing I've ever seen. Like even like just individually, but seeing that on like a one team, like legit speed with like 0 like actual training. So it was like pure genetic potential. It was absolutely freaky. In terms of like strength, I would say probably watching our DN, who was like a conference defensive player of the year prior. And then his backup was a conference player of the year the next season. But watching him, we were like testing squats one day, and he's got 500 pounds on his back. And like we never squatted heavy. Like, it was more of like, we did, but like we never really pushed, really just like roll the balls out, keep the kids healthy, give them a Saturday type of deal. Still trained hard, but not like that. Anyways, this kid takes 500 pounds. Just definition of fucking country strong.
Where does he go? Who's that handsome guy?
That's that Oxford connection.
JJ, you jump in, bro.
Yo.
Oh, he's gonna go again.
Back. Rest in peace, Zach Higginbottom.
Oh, we'll talk over that. Probably there's a kid at school that I trained in the high school, and he was just a general freak. I think he did like a chin up, a weighted chin up with 80 kilos for one rep. He was 17. Huh?
What did he weigh?
Like 96 kilos.
Fucking hell.
And then he ran 100 in like 10.7.
Yeah,
he was just like, I had all the genes. It's just one of those kids you look at and you're like, yeah, you've hit the lottery, mate. Couldn't catch, so he's useless and couldn't kick a ball. So sport was not his thing, but in the gym, just unreal.
Soccer or rugby?
Yeah, useless at both. He went to uni in this country and he turned to American football and he became the, like, I know it's in the UK, so football doesn't count, but he became like the rookie of the UK and things like that. Like, he went on to be solid running back.
How are you? I would say, I'm guessing, like, university football in the UK, it's probably like you're just fit to wash high school players' balls in America.
Probably like D3 high school as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Argentina, I'd say like the top level of rugby they had there, it's kind of similar, be like 2 or 3 notches below the Prem in England. I think that's more to do with the money than anything.
What about you?
Me, Harry Williams, I would say, obviously Small Troy, KJ, but Harry Williams, when he was, he'd done Wasps Academy, he'd gone off to play rugby in New Zealand for a little bit and get pissed, and he came back and he was thick. I think he was like around 130 kilos. So I think he's probably playing at 120-ish now, but he's just a beast. And he did a trap bar deadlift with 300 kilos, not high handles. It was just, the straight, like, regular height. So he's probably 6'5", and he pulled, 660 pounds off the floor fairly easy. Benno, when Benno was 16 or 17, he benched 170 kilos just like it wasn't there. But I mean, his range of motion for squats and benches like this, but he must have been, I think I started training him when he was 15 years old and he was like already 100 kilos then, benching 140 plus. And then we had a kid in the Wasps Academy, just a lovely kid, lovely kid, but had no interest in being a professional rugby player or getting stuck in whatsoever. But he, at the age, he's the most impressive muscle gain I've ever seen in any athlete ever. So he came in, he was 16 years old. He was 6'4", 6'5", and he was 93 kilos and about 8% body fat. And within 2 years, he was 116 kilos at the same height and the same body fat. So he gained approximately 50 pounds of lean mass in 2 years. And this kid, you know how like teenagers will always, eyes are bigger than their stomach. You say, do a couple of warm-up sets and stuff like that. And we had a couple of kids in the academy that were just like knobheads, and they warmed up over what they were supposed to do. And I was like, bro, does that sound like a warm up if you want warm over? And he's like, oh, yeah. So I turn around and start to motherfuck David because he had 110-pound dumbbells and he was warming up. And I was like, bro, you've gone over your working weight. He's like, no, I haven't. So he was probably 16 years old doing flat dumbbell presses with 140-pound dumbbells. And he was so strong. We used to train in the same facility as the senior team. So probably one of the best teams in England at the time, or just past that period. But we had guys that had played in World Cups, had 50 caps, and they would come and poke their head around the door in the gym to see this teenager train. It was like unreal. And he was probably one of the fastest guys on the team as well. But yeah, man, it's probably, to this day, still probably the most physically talented athlete I've ever worked with. maybe him and Billy Vanapola and Troy, but he never made it, and it just kind of reinforced to me quite early on in my career, like it will take you so far and no further. But yeah, Zach, you want to finish, brother? He's having another stroke. Zach, you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm back.
Hit me with it, brother.
All right, so my next one was probably watching our Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year squat 500 for 8 and probably have 5 reps left in the tank. And the coach goes, fuck it, rack it, we're done. And he's like, that's it? And just gets up and walks away. That's probably the second most freakiest, strength freakiest thing I've ever seen. Or watching the kid take 405, another kid, a coach take 405 on a full clean to the basement 3 or 4 times and never stand up with it. But just the fact he's going to get 405 that many times was pretty impressive. Those are probably the 3 freakiest things I've ever seen.
I forgot. I'll give you a bonus one. Monty Bill Williams. For the non-rugby crowd, this guy's probably one of the most talented rugby players ever. Played for the All Blacks.
Wait, we're under a minute. We're gonna get booted.
We are.
Yeah.
We can redo and I can edit them together.
You fucking gun. Yeah.
What a legend.
We were doing bench press throws, and I think 40 kilos. He threw it so hard it almost hit me in the chin, and his average velocity was almost 2 meters a second. It was just insane. And yeah, heavyweight boxing champion of New Zealand. All right, Zachary, because you're a fucking morbid weirdo, you wanted to discuss what we would eat for our last meal if we were condemned to die. I'll let you go first.
Oh, this is easy. I'm going to Speedy's Barbecue, Lexington, North Carolina. I'm getting a plate of pulled pork, slaw, and puppies with a sweet Milo sweet tea. Game over. That's all I need.
Why that place? When have you in North Carolina?
My mom's family's from there, which is why you never hear me talk about it. So I was growing up, I would either go visit there a few times I went there, or my family would make it. So it's one of the few good memories I have that side of my family. So it's morbid. Good, so it fits.
So, Scott, we already know that you're probably going to eat a meal that is going to have our former boss, Eric Corum, shaking his head in dismay.
Let me go ahead and lay it down for you. So, we're definitely getting a piece of deep dish pizza, Portillo's cake shake. We're getting ribs from Burnco in Tulsa, and then a fried rice bowl from Lone Wolf in Tulsa. And I will go about my way from there.
So really,
I might die from the diabetes before the execution.
But here's the thing: there are people on death row that they use their diabetes as a means of not being executed because it would supposedly constitute cruel and unusual punishment. See, apparently execution is not cruel and unusual punishment, but yeah, I remember there was a guy who was diabetic and morbidly obese, and they said there would be some kind of interaction with the drugs, and that was his excuse to try and get off. So maybe you backdoored it there, bro.
Chestnut checkers.
I could have.
Young Terrence.
I'm going a whole slab of beef ribs, smoked, macaroni and cheese, because at that point I'm on death row. What's lactose intolerance at that point? Anymore.
Bro, you probably rushed to the chamber yourself because I've eaten with you and you just give it that
give me some insomnia cookies for that sweet tooth. And
dude,
that's me done. That's game. If the gastrointestinal distress doesn't kill me, he's kind of.
JJ,
I'm getting a gauchos, ribeye steak. Mac and cheese, probably a glass of Macallan's, and then just fat. I'm a big fan of cookies, so it's going to be something cookie related, not Fritter. Sorry, Scott, but
you've had enough Fritters for a lifetime.
Huh?
You've had enough, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Go with. I'm gonna. It's real cliche, but I'm probably going with a 64-ounce tomahawk steak, rare, and then a 21-year-old red breast, double pour, just neat.
How I
Meet Raw while you're on death row.
one of my favorite pictures of the boy Anthony, I took it when we were at Central Virginia Sports Performance in 19, and we were like, it was after the presentations. They served the buffet and shit like that, and I've just got a picture of Tony stood there with a pound of steak on a plate and a glass full of whiskey, just staring into the abyss.
Time I was adhering to a specific diet, and that's the only thing we had available.
Listen, bro, keto Tony. I mean, don't pretend like you weren't fucking eating that on your own time as well. It's just the steak was of a higher quality.
This
Keto Tony and Fun Tony are two different things, but I love them both. I love them both, brother.
What are you going, kid?
I'm going for a chilled glass of my haters' tears and a side of puss. Cheers. What you boys got coming up this week?
Florida tomorrow, preseason camp for 2 weeks. We're down in Port St. Lucie, staying at some like Club Med down there.
Happy days.
Yeah, against some warm weather. It's been in the negatives the last 10 days. So
You want to be like 30, 35 minutes up at West Palm. It's not too far north of where we were from.
Oh yeah. I've never been. I've been to Port St. Lucie because that's where the Mets were. Mets spring training is there, and someone else is there too. But the resort's supposed to be nice, but I've never been. I have no idea where the resort is.
So, I mean, theoretically, if you kept any resumes on file from your previous haunt, I'm just saying you could revisit that, right?
I mean, we won't be a full lockdown.
You will be.
Yeah, I won't be allowed to leave the resort, other than to our equipment person leave to go do like laundry and stuff like that. But
shit.
But the nice part is all inclusive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, living the life. Kim, what you think?
You could call old girl.
Business as usual, bro.
Just living the Olympic dream.
Yes, sir.
There's always
seeing my vegan again. Huh?
There's always a team to train.
There is. Except not today. I had 0 groups today. So I went in for 5 hours, cranked through some work for 3.5, went for an hour walking and left.
I mean, what? You went there for 12 hours?
Huh?
How come you had no groups?
What?
How come you had no groups?
Worked out that way because of teams traveling, off days, what have you.
How are you?
Just a perfect storm.
Shit. Zachary, what about you, brother?
Let's see. We gotta wait for the snow to melt because Mississippi stops functioning and Louisiana as soon as it gets below 40 degrees. So other than that, not shit. I'm working on some projects for save University of Mississippi football and start fourth quarter program next week. So it's gonna be
you guys have got an indoor there, right?
Yeah, an indoor. So it's not yet. I mean, outside we're not outside the elements. So it's not bad, but just getting to and from having to drive because nobody here knows how to drive in the snow. So fucking the world stops as soon as it gets cold.
Shit, bro. TBA, I know what you're doing. We're going for a cafe tomorrow. I decided we're going for a coffee. And then me and JJ,
10:30.
With
Soft
10:30 Network. Huh?
A soft 10:30.
Bro, this motherfucker. When did you get out of bed today?
7:30.
Fuck off. Keep your mic.
I didn't respond to your text till 10 though. I apologize.
Outrageous.
Tony, when do you have to report for spring training? You have to
When
wait.
MLB's out, or I'm sorry, when majors are out, they want to make sure we don't cross contaminate anybody, bringing new people in.
Yeah.
Bro, you are just
Fluid at this point.
Huh?
Report date's fluid, so any as far as I understand it, any delays to the majors spring training would then consequently push us back on our start.
And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's out of my hands. It's kind of above my pay grade to make that call or choice.
It's what I'm saying is it's frustrating though, right? Kind of like a soft 11. Let's wrap it there, bro. Oh, the